Yeah, this is Zachary D, the Palsy Papa.
And I'm Jamie, his wife.
And down here, you probably can't see her right now, but down here is our youngest daughter, Cecilia. And this is My Family Mondays. Wanted to take a little bit to introduce you guys to what makes me the Palsy Papa, aka Cerebral Palsy Dad, aka Zachary Do It Big. I just wanted to kind of take an opportunity to spend some time with my family while also making some YouTube content for those delicious watch minutes. I am a father of two. I am married to this beautiful woman right here. And we live in Texas. So I work right down this hallway over here. You can't see it in this video. But this is the home where I work. We just moved, what?
10 days ago?
Yeah, you moved 10 days ago. But we moved
a week ago.
9 days ago by the time you see this. So actually, by the time they see this, it'll be you've been here for like 12 days. But she moved ahead of me because I had to work, and setting up internet in a new place is hard. As you know, I've ran into a few difficulties with that. But why don't we talk about how we met? Why do you find that story so awkward?
It's not awkward. I find it more hilarious.
Okay, what's hilarious about it?
Well, I had temporarily been working at a tax preparation place, and then started working where he worked at the time.
Speak up. Speak up a little bit. Don't look at me like that. Speak up.
Ignore him. I started working at a tax preparer place. It was only temporary for the tax season, and then I started working where he worked at the time as a receptionist. It was April 1st, 2016.
And what's funny about that is, what's hilarious about that is my boss at the time specifically said, we're going to hire someone as a receptionist that nobody will date. It's going to be off limits. Can't do it. Won't do it. And look at me. I ended up married to her. So, you start working April 1st, 2016?
I interviewed April 1st. And I started working April 4th. But that was the first day I met you. You were sitting in your little corner booth, your little corner desk back in the back, and didn't know anything about you other than the fact that you had all the black hair or brown hair, and only saw your back.
I don't have as much brown hair today as I did 4 years ago. Oh yeah, you're ready to film? We started. Yeah, you're ready, huh?
But yeah, we met that way, and actually I was seeing someone at the time and had been dating.
Yeah, we're talking to people. Yeah.
Have been dating and living with him at the time for almost 2 years. We had some rough patches, and probably about a month after I started working there, he decided to take an action to end things. That caused me to end it.
Let's rewind a little bit. First impressions of the Palsy Papa.
I didn't even really know that he had cerebral palsy until I went to see him walk. And then I was really kind of scared to ask him what was wrong. I really didn't know.
You were scared?
I was worried that I was going to offend you.
Have I ever been shy about having the palsy?
No, I didn't know. But I didn't know you that well whenever I first met you. And we first started talking.
But you saw my interactions.
All the interactions that I saw were of you and, what's his name?
Which one?
His wife works as the candy lady. The chocolate and candy lady.
Oh, you mean,
Um,
uh,
uh,
shout out to Caitlin's Confections, by the way. You mean and Jeremy?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting that he's the one, because he wasn't there very long before you started. So it's funny that he was the one that you remember the interaction with, because I worked with the rest of those folks for years.
Yeah.
Probably a year before and years after. So we met in April of 2016 and were like dating by June.
Yeah. I ended things with my ex in May, and ended up we ended up starting to date in June. We actually ended up moving in with each other because I was in an unstable living arrangement after I left my ex. He had become violent, and I
Left. Right. The part of this story that kind of is funny. We lived with a coworker of mine by the name of Wes, and I was supposed to be living in the same neighborhood where she lived previously with her ex. That didn't work out, so we ended up here where we are now with a coworker of mine and somebody I consider a brother, Carlin. And for what percentage of our relationship would you say in total we lived with Carlin? I mean, because we lived with
I
him.
would say about a third.
Yeah, we lived with him for the majority of the time we were over at Wes's and with Wes.
Well, until we moved into the other house.
No, he left. He left when we were still at the broken down trailer. Because to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, we lived in some places. Let me tell you. And no shade to anybody involved. We were all doing the best we could. But let me tell you, we moved out of Wes's house, which was a fairly nice house.
Oh, yeah.
Into a trailer that was basically falling apart. Mm-hmm. And nobody just had the resources to fix it. I didn't have them. Jamie didn't have them. And we started our life together. And you know, a lot of people might say, well, that was fast. And honestly, it was.
Yeah.
It was very, very fast. But
while we did move in together and live together and went straight to being in a relationship about a month after we had met,
you choking on soda over here? That's probably our worst decision as parents. We're such great parents, guys. Fantastic parents we are. We're giving a 2-year-old a Dr. Pepper and just watching her choke while we film a video. Lit.
We didn't give it to her. She took it off the side table.
And yeah, the 2-year-old runs this house. Just took it. Fuck it.
Anyways,
now you're just fake coughing.
Yeah. While we did start dating in June of 2016, we did not get married until September of 2017. We spent a good portion of that time in marriage prep counseling.
You're just jumping all kinds of guns.
I mean,
the important part of this, the important part she skipped there, is we kind of lived our life, and I wasn't necessarily doing the most dad thing in the world. I'm a much better dad today than I was to her 12-year-old when we first met.
Yeah.
By the way, I guess we should say why the 12-year-old is not here. It's not because she doesn't want to be. She is autistic, and she currently lives about, 4 hours away from us?
3.5.
Okay, we're talking semantics. 3.75 hour away from us, in a home that is intended to get her stable enough to come home. Over the course of our first forever, she has been known to be violent, and if we really wanted to get into that, we could. But that's the important thing for you guys to know. Kirsten would love to be here in this video, and let me tell you, she'll be super excited to find out that her dad's on YouTube. As soon as she finds that out, she'll be really excited, and hopefully, as the My Family Mondays progress, you'll see some holiday videos, and hopefully she is able to come home for the holidays and you guys can meet her as well. The important part here is right around December of 2016, I said, I really want to be Catholic. And it was a little bit more complicated than that, but it boiled down to I'm going to Mass, whether you like it or not, and that's the thing I'm doing. And what did you say?
Well, let me clarify something to them about how it actually went. He had been approached about, a different denomination of Christianity other than Catholicism.
Did
and yes,
when?
Sam.
Oh, you mean to say that? No, I asked him.
Okay.
He didn't. He wasn't like evangelizing me. I asked him to read the Book of Mormon.
Okay. Anyways, he told me he was interested in going back to church, but he wanted to make sure the right kind of church was the one that he wanted to go to, and he said he wanted to go through the list of all the different kinds of denominations, and we started with the Catholic Church and never went anywhere else.
And just so we're clear, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about religion on this channel because I don't really want to start a debate down in the comments section about it. Free to debate on another format, on another channel. We didn't just choose the Catholic Church and we liked the way it felt. No, being Catholic is difficult. And I tested the intellectual things regarding it and determined that if Christianity is true, Catholicism is the church founded by Jesus Christ. And the only reason I mention this at all in this video is because being Catholic is a big part of our family. So it's going to eventually come out anyway. So I figured in the first video, we might as well go ahead and just outright say it. But I started going to Mass, and you said what? Hey, I can't have that. You can all you want, but nobody can hear me if you're going ah. Nobody can hear me, bro.
The life of having a 2-year-old. I said that I was glad that he wanted to go in, that you wanted to go back to church, or you wanted to go to church, and that I wanted to see how you would react to going to church on a normal basis, and then on top of it to see how it would affect you as a person, because whether or not you were going to stay with it was going to determine whether or not I was really going to put my effort into it, because I wanted to go, but I also didn't want to, I had wanted to go to church with other people in the past, but
It was just a fad.
it was more they didn't want me to go, or they thought it was ridiculous and I didn't want it to cause drama.
No, so
I did want to go.
she sort of let me go for a few weeks.
Yeah, I didn't start getting into it until January.
A few weeks. Well, that December, we started to have some real, how do I say, drama in regards to our living situation.
Yes.
There was a lot going on and things outside of our control, and we ended up having to find a place to live. And we found the place that we lived in for 3 years?
3.5 years.
Place that we lived for 3.5 years before this one. But the story that is important here, I was at Mass one Sunday. We were in the process of moving out. And then what happened, Jamie?
Oh, he was at Mass. I was still moving. We had moved the day before most of the stuff, but the Sunday that we went to go take him to Mass, I went back to the other house to get the rest of the stuff.
To move what specifically?
To move his recording equipment.
Right. And where was that recording equipment? I can laugh about this now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
And it's still not funny to me. I still
What happened?
Okay. I still have emotional scars over what happened.
Right, but what happened?
We were robbed. The old house was broken into. They took all of the metal stuff. They took everything that...
They took the siding off the house, fuckings.
They took
the skirt off the trailer?
The metal skirt.
Facts.
They stripped the inside unit that wasn't even working. They stripped the outside unit. They took anything that had any kind of value. They took a broken TV.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, it was emotionally scarring for me because I've never been quote unquote robbed like that before. So, you know, they took some things that were personal for me, and I think one of them ended up being my oldest baby book.
Yeah, that was bad. But we take this moment, we move out into our house that we stayed into for the previous 3 years. And I guess this is a good point. We've been together about 6 months. We've been together about 6 months at this point. We know each other fairly well. At that point, what is it like being with somebody who is crippled?
Honestly, I think I had already been prepared for it most of my life. I was groomed when I was a teenager to take care of the person that I was with. My mom had raised me to be an independent person, so at the time that he and I were together, I was with somebody, but I was the main food provider. You know, I was the breadwinner of the home. I was the only one working. He lived off of SSI.
Right. Not me. But.
Not him. My ex. And so.
Oh, no. There's a Dr. Pepper on me now. Cool. Awesome. Neat. All right, let me fix that. But no, let's round back to the question. What's it like being with somebody who has the palsy?
I think that it was a little difficult at first learning what his abilities were. And even to today, I'm still learning what he can and cannot do as a person. I know he cannot run.
I don't want to, by the way. I don't want to run. It's not a thing.
He can't run. He can't drive, which is fine because anybody else driving, I get motion sickness.
And I would say that probably that was initially the most difficult.
I wouldn't say it's most difficult because
What would you say is the most difficult?
I would say
If not that.
I would say the most difficult is your independence of not wanting to use a walking assistant tool.
Hold on, that's difficult for you?
Well, I mean, you got to realize, especially when I was pregnant with our now 2-year-old, I had a lot of. I'm not a small person at all whatsoever, obviously. And then on top of it, adding on, a baby growing inside of me at the time. And then, he has no cane or anything to walk
okay,
sometimes.
so to be fair about that, let's be fair. I'm not opposed to using a cane, but I leave them everywhere.
He does.
Because I use a cane so infrequently. Like in the house, there's no way I'm using a cane. That's dumb.
Yeah.
So we'll go out, because I can walk independently. I say all the time, it's not the walking, it's the stopping.
Yeah.
I can walk. We can go forward as pretty much as long as you want. But stopping and like in the middle of a room, yeah, not happening, buddy.
Well, and on top of it, if you're like trying to go on uneven ground, that's also very difficult too. Like walking across the yard, I know he couldn't do that.
Okay, so when she says I couldn't do it,
he can.
it was hard, and I'm going to fall.
Yes.
And I will get back up. So there's a lot of things that she may describe as can't do, where the reality is that it's unreasonable for me to do it. And I actually thought about on this channel just trying to do some stuff, like put a mat underneath me and try and get on a ladder.
We don't have a ladder.
Oh, we can get one.
No, we're not.
Subscribe, like, comment, make YouTube pay for my ladder.
Oh,
And I will 100% record a video of me getting on a ladder. Facts.
We have to have health coverage. Okay, I say this for a reason. He was walking out of our priest's conference room one day after a meeting.
Oh, man.
And he missed the step down and he fell and he hit his face. He hit his nose. He hit his upper lip. And he actually cut open his lip right here. And
I don't think you can see the scar still.
You can't.
Well, particularly when I have the mustache.
But he wanted me to put butterfly band-aids
Yeah, what did I say
over
when that
it.
happened?
You said just like cut off all the hair and like put a band-aid on it and then that will be that.
Because why? Because I didn't want to go to the hospital.
Because you didn't want to go to, he does not like shots.
It's not shots. I don't like hospitals.
Okay, so
I spent a significant portion of my childhood in a hospital. And I'm not trying, and we'll get into that in a solo video, because there's a lot that I could say about that. There's a lot of stories I could tell about what it was like for me to go back and forth to the children's hospital.
We have newspaper clippings too.
Oh, that might be good for them to see.
Yeah.
I wish I could get a hold of the Children's Miracle Network footage. Because I was on TV, boys and girls. I was on TV in like 95.
I have a brochure too from Children's Miracle Network where you were in it.
Where did you get all this?
Your mom.
What?
Your mom and yeah.
Why?
Because she gave me a whole bunch of your baby stuff.
Oh, good grief. But no, that sort of this sort of exemplifies how we are when we're hanging out. is there something that you want to say? You're raising your hand like I'm going to call on you.
To go back to it, he ended up having to go to the ER. They ended up having to cut. I told you were going. I was not going to touch your lip with a 10-foot pole. They ended up having to cut it open even more because it was a jagged crisscross cut in his upper lip. And they had to put stitches in it. So that tells you how bad it is. They had to put stitches in it.
I mean, I've got other cuts.
Yeah.
You can't see that.
He tried to open up a pouch of tuna fish.
One of the, the pouches you're supposed to go and tear it.
Yeah.
I'm dumb. And tried to use a knife.
Took a knife.
You feel me?
And he cut it and he stabbed his finger.
No, I sliced it open.
Sliced his finger open.
And we didn't go get stitches for that one.
No, and you probably should have.
I definitely should have.
Yeah.
Have I ever hit my head real hard?
No, I don't think so.
Since we've been together?
I don't think so.
There's a few stories about that too. There were a few real sketchy times about that. But
he has fallen many times, so that's one of the things that I've had to learn with him. That when he and I first met.
Yeah, what was it like the first time you saw me fall?
Okay, the first time I saw him fall, I wanted to run over there to him and make sure he was not injured. Because that's what a person who does not have any physical handicaps does when they see someone that falls, is they want to go over there and help them to get back up.
Okay, then what did I say?
And he said, leave me alone. He said, I got this, I don't need your help.
Partly because it's embarrassing. And I don't mean like embarrassing in the way that like I feel bad about falling. But it's like if I'm going to fall, I want to handle the consequences on my own if I can. I say all the time, you're not going to worry about me falling, you're going to worry about me not getting back up. And if I don't get back up and I do need help, I'll say something.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to learn?
There are still times I'm learning it. There are still times where I'll hear him fall. Like earlier this morning, I heard something crash. It shook the house. Did I fall this morning? Yes, you did. You fell on the bed.
Yesterday morning because it's Monday.
Oh, yes. Yesterday
morning. It's Monday, remember?
Yes.
You got to keep that illusion that it's all filmed the same day, you feel me? She's just breaking my continuity illusion.
My bad.
No, it's fine. It's whatever. I don't think anybody cares.
He fell, and of course, this being a mobile home, it shook the whole house. I think it shook the whole house every time he fell at the other place too.
Not a small dude.
Well, it was
a huge dude.
Pure and beam home, so it sits on blocks, and something falls in that house.
Are you playing an instrument
shakes.
now? I don't think anybody can hear us with you clapping those together.
Stop, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.
I still have a hard time remembering that.
I'm crippled?
He can do it on his own, unless he needs help.
Do you ever forget that I have palsy?
Yeah. Not forget, I just have overlooked it. Because I've just gotten used to what you can and cannot do.
Well, there's a lot of things I probably could do, but don't do.
I think that the most difficult thing that we've run across with his cerebral palsy has been when I had Cecilia.
Oh, man.
He cannot stand and hold a newborn baby.
I cannot.
And, can't walk across the house with a newborn baby or anything like that. But thankfully, I hate to refer to it like this, but I just went back to the times of when I was having to take care of Kirsten when she was little and it was just me.
Well, and forget the practical aspect. As a dad, that sucked. And I think about it a lot. And honestly, we may revisit any number of these topics in a later video in more detail. But I wanted to give you guys a basis of who we are as a family. And do you think that having palsy makes me a worse dad?
No. No. When Cecilia was younger, she did the whole maternal attachment thing.
Well, I was also working outside the home.
Yeah.
40, 50 hours, sometimes 50 hours a week.
But now if you compare her relationship with him, it's no different than it is with me.
Oh, I guess we should mention that too. How long has it been since you worked?
It's been 3 years.
So, literally the week after we got married, September 8th, 2017.
September 18th was the last day that I worked.
And that was a decision we made as a family. Even though I was working outside the home at the time, I felt like she couldn't properly take care of our children and work. And she agreed. There was a lot going on with Kirsten at the time, that doctor's appointments and phone calls, and all the time there's something. So she hasn't worked for 3 years, and I've been working at home for about 8 months. So for us, I'm home, she's home. Cecilia sees both of us every day at home, and that's kind of our life. She's a stay-at-home mom, and I'm a work-at-home dad. It's actually, when you think about it that way, it's kind of strange.
It really is. She does have a hard time when Zach goes to work in his office. She wants to go in there with him. She loves her daddy.
And I think that'll get better as she gets older and can understand. Because right now, she doesn't really understand that I'm working in there. And it's particularly difficult since we started this channel, or since I started the channel, because you sort of didn't have a decision in that, did you?
No. But I had also wanted to share some information about, Kirsten and...
I think there's a lot of things we can talk about that makes our family experience different than most people. And I really, really thank you guys for all the support that you've given the channel over the last week. It's been a week already.
Has it? Yeah.
By the time this video comes out, yeah.
Yeah. Well, big Monday.
By the time this video comes out, yeah, it'll absolutely be a week. But I kind of want to cut it here because I think they have a good basis of who we are as a people. I think we need to crank up some Doc McStuffins, which I hope you guys can't hear that in the background because I really don't want to get demonetized over the Doc. But I really appreciate you guys for hanging out. If below your questions, we're happy to answer them. I want to give you an idea of... I want to get your feedback on what questions you have, and maybe we'll do a Q&A session.
Yeah.
If we get enough questions. Maybe we'll make one of these videos a Q&A, answer you guys' questions, and then maybe we'll go live.
That would be cool.
I can't go live on the phone for a while. Thanks, YouTube. Give me to 1,000 subscribers, I can go live on the phone. That's the rule, by the way.
Oh.
So, yeah, definitely appreciate you guys for hanging out. As always, I am Zachary D, a.k.a. the Palsy Papa, a.k.a. Cerebral Palsy Dad, a.k.a. I'll land on something one of these days, I promise. I'm kind of just testing out a few different names, seeing what's gonna stick. But I am Zachary D, a.k.a. the Palsy Papa. This is Jamie, my wife. That over there is Cecilia. And as always, don't be tripping, because I'm still crippin'. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.